Panthers great Cam Newton misses mark on Shedeur Sanders, Eagles and Ravens. Newton thinks Shedeur was right not to want to be a backup, but he cost himself a chance to land with either one of two of the NFL's best organizations. The more we learn about the pre-draft process for Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders, the more confused we get. While it seemed illogical that Sanders fell as far as he did in the draft, it sounds like he didn't do himself any favors. The latest story to come out is that Sanders made it known he didn't want to get drafted by the Baltimore Ravens because he didn't want to be a backup behind Lamar Jackson. Apparently, Sanders didn't want to go to the Philadelphia Eagles for the same reason, not wanting to play second fiddle to Jalen Hurts. Here's what Carolina Panthers legend Cam Newton had to say about that on the most recent episode of his 4th and 1 podcast. Cam Newton on Shedeur Sanders reports. Normally we agree with Newton's takes, but this is one where he misses the mark. Why Cam Newton was wrong. It's all right that Sanders wanted to start right away, but to outright refuse a team because they already have an established franchise quarterback is foolish. Especially when those two teams he refused are two of the smartest, most consistently successful organizations in the NFL. Sanders' stance was essentially like refusing to go on a date with Jennifer Lawrence or Margaret Qualley because he was holding out for a chance to marry Beyoncé. In other words, completely unrealistic. And so Sanders landed with the Cleveland Browns, one of the longest-suffering franchises in all of professional sports, and he wound up not being their starter anyway. You never know what might have happened in Philadelphia or Baltimore, where he almost certainly would have been better coached and better prepared for an opportunity to start than he will be in Cleveland. If either Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson got injured, Sanders might have had a chance to step in and take over as QB1 for a contender. No. Sanders may literally never get his feet firmly on the ground in this league. Sometimes you have to take what you can get. The NFL has always been a theater of personalities as much as plays. Legends aren't just built on yards and touchdowns, they're chiseled in the court of public opinion. So when a towering figure like Cam Newton takes aim at a rookie quarterback, the echoes ripple far beyond the field. Recently, Newton had plenty to say about Shedeur Sanders, the Cleveland Browns' new face of the franchise, and his decisions surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles and Baltimore Ravens. But as sharp as Newton's delivery was, it felt like the great Panther may have misread the script this time. Cam Newton's lens. Cam Newton's career is part superhero comic, part Shakespearean drama. He was the human highlight reel who carried Auburn to a national title, then stormed into the NFL like a one-man hurricane. MVP seasons, Superman celebrations, and that unforgettable 2015 Panthers run to the Super Bowl cemented him as one of the most electric quarterbacks of his era. So, when Newton comments on young QBs, people listen. He's seen the climb, the glory, and the fall. But with Shedeur Sanders, his take carried the whiff of an old guard misunderstanding a new generation. According to Newton, Sanders dodging the Ravens and Eagles was a red flag. He implied that if Shedeur were truly about competition, he wouldn't have worried about sitting behind Lamar Jackson in Baltimore or carving a role under Jalen Hurts in Philly. Instead, Sanders maneuvered his way to Cleveland, a team desperate for quarterback stability. It's a strong opinion, but one that feels stuck in an outdated narrative. The Ravens hypothetical. Newton insisted Sanders should have welcomed the chance to learn behind Lamar Jackson. But here's the flaw. Quarterbacks aren't wide receivers or pass rushers. You don't rotate them in and out. You're either the guy or you're not. For Shedeur, sitting behind Jackson wasn't a learning opportunity, it was a career stall. Shedeur isn't built to be a clipboard holder. His father, Deion Sanders, made that clear long before draft day. His talent, his leadership, his vision of the game, those tools sharpened by playing, not by watching. The Ravens have no intention of moving on from Lamar, who's still in his prime and already a two-time MVP. Had Shedeur landed there, he would have been a name in the shadows, his career momentum frozen in amber. Cam Newton, more than anyone, should understand this. When he came into Carolina, he was handed the keys immediately. No veteran starter blocked his path. He didn't have to sit behind Jake Delhomme or Jimmy Clausen. He was QB1 from day one, and that trial by fire shaped his career. To expect Shedeur to do the opposite rings as a contradiction. The Eagles' angle. Then came Newton's swipe at Sanders rejecting Philadelphia. On paper, it's an intriguing destination. Jalen Hurts is a star, but the Eagles are a machine, loaded roster, creative play calling, an environment where a young QB might thrive in the wings. But again, Quarterbacks don't thrive in the wings. Shedeur Sanders isn't a gadget player or a sub-package weapon. He's a franchise quarterback in his own right. Going to Philly would have meant hoping for Hurts to falter, an ugly, unlikely path that no true competitor would wish for. Besides, Shedeur's brand is independence. He doesn't want to be the next Hurts or Lamar's backup. He wants to carve his own lane, build his own legacy. Landing in Philly would have forever tied his name to someone else's shadow. Cleveland, the chosen path. Instead, Sanders engineered his way to Cleveland. To critics, it looks like he picked the easier road, escaping competition. To the more nuanced eye, it's the boldest move of all. The Browns are a franchise synonymous with heartbreak. Quarterbacks have come and gone like wind through a revolving door: Manziel, Mayfield, Watson, Flacco, and countless others. By going to Cleveland, Shedeur chose pressure over comfort. He chose the burden of being the savior rather than a silent understudy. Every snap he takes isn't just about winning games, it's about rewriting decades of failure. That's a crucible Cam Newton never had to face. And here's where Newton misses the mark again. He confuses competition with opportunity. Competition sharpens the blade, yes. But opportunity gives you the chance to wield it. Shedeur didn't run from competition. He ran toward the only arena where his skills would actually matter on day one. Generational shift. Cam Newton belongs to an era where quarterbacks often had to earn it by waiting behind veterans. Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre. Patrick Mahomes behind Alex Smith. But the league has shifted. Rookie QBs are expected to step in immediately, both for competitive reasons and financial ones. Teams want to capitalize on rookie contracts. Shedeur embodies the modern model. He has NFL-ready poise, honed footwork, and a confidence built from carrying Colorado through national spotlights. The Browns weren't just drafting a player, they were importing a culture. Dion raised him for this exact moment, and Shedeur embraced it fully. Newton, who has bristled at being misunderstood throughout his career, ironically fell into the same trap with Sanders. He judged him by old standards, missing the nuances of today's NFL. The weight of legacy. One final layer makes Newton's criticism shaky: the father-son factor. Shedeur Sanders isn't just another quarterback, he's Dion's son.